What's up, dude? How are
How
you?
are you? I'm good, man.
So I want you to first kind of tell us kind of like where you live, that type of stuff, and then we'll kind of take it from there.
Cool. I live in Topanga Canyon, and it's actually kind of crazy that we're on the phone right now because about 9 months ago, when I talked to you, I actually lived directly across the street in this little tiny apartment with my girlfriend. We're practically living on top of each other. Barely getting by. Had a
No
massage
pun
therapy.
intended, right?
Yeah, exactly. I thought you'd pick up on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're just like barely getting by running my massage therapy company, was doing anything I could to get leads. So coming into this, I knew how important it was for local business owners to get leads. I mean, I was paying an SEO company $500 a month, did not get one single lead. I was paying Yelp $350 a month, maybe got 2 phone calls a month, and was just really frustrated and was just doing a lot of online searching. And, that's where I kind of stumbled upon you guys. And, now 9 months later, I'm living across the street in a big house by myself on the creek,
Wait, you lost your girlfriend?
Yeah, I kicked her to the curb.
Um, oh, dude. Well, hey, more fish in the pond, right? There's
Right.
other ones out there.
Yeah.
So you've
Um,
in 9 months you've done some pretty like crazy things. It's funny because you and I haven't caught up in a while, and you used to be on like every call, and then I know you're as people's businesses do get busy in lead gen, and you start to see them not on the calls as often because they're out there building their company like we're training you guys to do. And I'm like, what? Like, man, I was like totally blown away. So first off, congratulations, dude. That's
Thank you.
sick. How fast you did it.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember jumping in. I kind of spent my last couple of pennies and knew that I had 30 days to bring in some serious dough before my next tuition payment was due.
Right.
Or else me and my girl were going to be on the street. So, I mean, that's why I was on every call, was in the Facebook group. I went through the program in I think it took me about a week to get all the way through it. And then, got on calls and just started calling people. And literally, it was kind of like a mercy call, just like, please, somebody keep me in my house. Like, please do business with me.
Yeah.
And, the first couple of calls just like pretty much spoke gibberish. So I encourage anybody that's about to get on a phone call, just get on a call with somebody and just kind of yell at them through the phone and just like get all your mumbles and jumbles out. I honestly think my first call was like, and like threw the phone down, was like, holy shit, was like pacing around my house, like sweating. And then did, 4 or 5 of those. And about the 5th one that got on, the guy was like, yeah, like I need leads. Like, let's do this. And, in my second week, landed a client, and he totally, funded the rest and really got me going and really made me believe in this business.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I try to tell people when I speak to tons of people every day, and then there's like 2 different kinds of mindsets. There's the one mindset is like, we let everyone know that up front, like it's not an inexpensive program to be a part of, but it's really inexpensive when you start landing client after client after client. It becomes very, very inexpensive. And if you don't go in thinking that I'm going to land a client and my client's ultimately the one who's going to pay my tuition, just like you just said, then it's probably not the right fit. You probably shouldn't be getting into it because you're not really looking at it like a business. I tell people all the time on the phone, I say, listen, the guy or gal that buys a Subway franchise isn't going, wow, it's 200 grand. Oh man, that's a lot of money. They're going, dude, how many $5 footlongs do I need to sell in order to get my 200 grand back and start making some dough? And the cool thing is you only need a client or two to really start recapping your dough and then start growing your business like you have. I think though, something that you said was you got on the phone and started calling people, which that's not really even that's not even something I do. Like I'm not a cold call type of a guy. And I know it was just more, you had to get the job done. Like you had to get something going. So you forced that. It's probably not your thing either, right?
No, it definitely wasn't. But, everything I've learned from you and Grant Cardone and anybody really in the sales game is like, it doesn't matter how, talented you are on the back end of delivering. Like if you can't project that in a conversation and you can't find those people that are actually going to pay you for what you do, then it's pointless. And I knew that. And so, you know, and I'm a really sociable guy, and even getting on the phone with people was so uncomfortable. But, you know, when you're uncomfortable, you're growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So
totally. Yeah, I think it's definitely, the phone skills are definitely something that you either got them or you don't. I know there's many people that like the phone. There's some people that like doing the email stuff that we do. There's some people that like just doing it, you know, all different screencast videos, some of the prospecting ways. There's a million different ways to do it, but you're so right. If you're not getting in front of someone with a message, whether it's through email or text or Facebook or phone call or whatever, you're dying, because your skill sets are worth nothing if you don't have money coming in for them and someone's not paying you for them. And I see too many good people that have great skill sets. You see like amazing artists, right? That have these amazing skills and they're broke, or musicians, right? Great musicians they're amazing at music, but they're broke. And it's just because they haven't opened the right door and shown someone or the right person that's willing to take a risk or a chance on them, you know, with their skill sets, which gets me to kind of want to transition into like the next piece of what drives you as a person. Everyone's driven by different stuff. It's not always money or family or what have you. Kind of talk to me about what your next step is now that you have this nice income flowing in from what you've learned.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a musician, and, you know, just like you said, I always saw so many people in that industry that were either super talented and broke and living out of a van down by the river, which is, you know, something I did for years but didn't want to do anymore. I was like, how can I support my family, support my business, still be creative and have a good balance between all those, and be healthy and be able to travel? And was that vehicle for me, and is that vehicle for me, and is allowing me to now step into my next chapter, which is now that my business is kind of up and running, and, you know, I have a sales guy hired, I have some writers hired, I have some people doing, you know, the really, you know, repetitive, you know, manpower, to where I can just plug in the dots. Now I am going to be able to spend 40 hours a week going to the best music production school in the country. You know, because for me, I saw it was either two ways. One, you sign your life away to a major label, and then you're still broke, even though you're playing the big shows and have the nice tour bus. The second you stop making music for them, you owe them, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, a lot of big musicians have come out and have talked really about how skewed the music industry is. And then the people that I saw that are actually really, really successful and are making great money and being able to continue to fund their creative project are self-funded musicians that either grew it over 10 years or had some money or did something along the lines to really ramp up their marketing and their branding and just really to get them on the road. And so I'm getting ready to go to this school. You know, it's going to be 30 grand for a year program. And, you know, when you compare that, it's like, oh, it didn't cost me anything really in retrospect. And now it's going to fund this program that I had only dreamed about for the last 5 years. So
dude, that's awesome. Congrats on that, man. That's
thank you.
Super sick. So tell me, like, you went from basically paying all these different companies when you were doing massage therapy for SEO and Yelp and all these different things. And then you just told me a few minutes ago before we jumped on, like, you have one client you're generating over 600 leads a month for.
Yeah, so that was actually my first client that I landed. And, you know, pretty much I just looked at how much traffic the main, you know, party bus, limo, luxury car service, airport car service in Los Angeles was doing, and really just showed him the numbers. And he was like, wow, like, I know that that's there. He was like, I have bought limo websites in other cities for $15,000, $20,000 from people where he just like paid a one-time fee. So he knows how much traffic was coming through from these top sites. So we were kind of speaking the same language. Cool. And yeah, in the first 2 months, I think we did about 150 to 200 leads. And then he just kept saying, hey, how do I get more leads? I was like, you pay more money, you know, another, we'll just build more lead gen sites. And, you know, now we're about, you know, 8 months into it. Last month when I sent him the lead report, we did 635 leads.
Dude, that's freaking awesome. Out of thin air, over 9 months ago, you didn't know how to generate leads for your own business, and now you're freaking rocking 600 leads a month in a pretty cutthroat market, you know, where you're at. really cutthroat market. A lot of people, obviously a lot of buyers, but really cool to see like someone, I always look at people when I got a hold of them and, they're just like these rough rocks, and we're just like smoothing the edges and trying to like just show them like this stuff's not that difficult. Generating leads is not that hard once you have a good process to follow. And then once you have it, like both you and I see now, you pretty much know there's a point at where it all clicks, and it's obviously clicked for you for where you're at from an income standpoint. But for me, it was like, there was a point that clicked that was like, okay, first of all, I don't have a college degree. I'm not the smartest dude in the world. I know that for a fact. Okay. But I know I can build these lead gen sites. I know I can go through this process 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times. I could just keep doing the same thing over and over again. And life just got a whole heck of a lot easier. I don't have to freaking worry about jumping in the car, fighting LA traffic like people do out where you're at. Like you're sitting in your home, I'm sitting in my home, and we're able to work from the comforts of our home. And dude, I don't think people really realize how big of a deal that is. It's life changing from just like a happiness level. To wake up when you want to wake up, do what the heck you want to do. Obviously, we both work hard. You don't get to the numbers that you're at without grinding, but you're also on your time. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I know, I read this the other day in LA Weekly, but the average person in Los Angeles commutes 3 hours every single day.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. I was like, in 3 hours, I can put up 3 lead gen sites that are going to make me 60 grand a year in 3 hours. Like, when I really started to really look at time management, that's where I really started to make the dough. It's like in the first 3 months of my business, I didn't go out one single time. I didn't take off one single day off, because I knew, just like from reading from all my mentors and you and Tim Ferriss and, Dave Asprey and all these like big time dudes, they were like, you need to figure out what you have to sacrifice to get to where you want to be. Yeah. And for me, that was going out. I quit drinking, quit seeing. I didn't even see anybody for like almost nearly 5 months. I just started going back out to events maybe 2 months ago. All my friends were like, "Dude, are you dead? Like, what's going on?" I'm just like, "No, I'm building my dream, and you just got to lock yourself away in solitude to be able to like truly, genuinely do that."
Well, yeah, I mean, my wife is an attorney. 7 years of law school to get out and when she got out, she got like a $50,000 a year job, maybe at the time when she first got out. And that was after 7 years and $100K in student loans. Yeah. Like, people truly don't understand. Some people just because they're not entrepreneurial enough. Some people because they just won't, they're such skeptics that there's something outside of working for the man. But people truly don't understand that like life could be so much better steps away, a couple lead gen sites away. And I seriously, like, I was talking to my wife's brother, who's an attorney as well, and he makes good money, 300 plus, I believe. And I'm like, I would never do what you have to do, even though it's probably an awesome job. He really likes his job. I would never do it because I know I can rip $300,000 out of the marketplace doing lead generation in a matter of probably 60, 90 days. Knowing what I know now with some real hustle, I would build a big team and I would hit it. And it's like, it's not that difficult. And I think that's the biggest takeaway for me from all these years of being out on my own as an entrepreneur is like, keep things simple and stupid. Don't overcomplicate a process that doesn't need to be overcomplicated. And understand if you have a skill set, all those people out there, all those business owners, they have your money. They have your freedom. It's in their bank account and they'll give it to you if you ask them for it. And if you can provide this service to them that helps them grow their business, they don't want to do what we do. You know that for a fact. They don't want to do what we do.
Yeah. A couple of my business owners, they don't even want to check their email. Like, they're like, I don't even know how to log into my email.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of where I started. I could do email and I could do Facebook and that was about it. And, so, if people are worried about being technical in this business, it's not at all. It's just like just putting in the time and just following the system and just rinse and repeat. It's just rinse and repeat, that's what's so beautiful about this. I was like, man, I can't jump into a program that I'm going to have to, spend a year learning, it's like, no, I learned this in a week, a week. And then
how long did you go to massage therapy school? How long did that take to get through?
That was coming up on 2 years, actually.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it was insane. And, spent a lot of money getting there. And then that's always continued education. I was still going to workshops every single, at least once a month I was going to another, 3-day workshop, spending another couple of grand. It was endless. And, I knew what I wanted in life and had it all written down on my vision board. I wanted to make 10 grand a month. I wanted to work from my laptop. I wanted freedom, but I didn't know exactly what that was.
Sure.
So when I saw it hit all the check marks on my entrepreneurial vision board, it was like, work where you want, work when you want, don't answer to anybody, make as much money as you want, and be able to go on vacation for 2 months, never open your laptop, come back and your bank account's still just as big or larger than it was when you left.
Outsider looking in, what advice would you give them other than jump in? Like, what sort of things would you have them check off the list of, is it for being the right fit for them? Because it's not for everyone. It's not for people that think this is like some lottery ticket where you just jump in and money gets shot out of your computer screen like every other freaking internet thing I ever see. It's like, give me a break. What advice?
Really, I would sit down, and what I had to do is pretty much just drop a vision board, a 1-year plan, a 2-year plan, a 5-year plan of where you want to be. And, because I was such a procrastinator for so many years, was I want to do this. And I want to be a huge musician. And I want to do world tours, but I didn't look at all the little pieces it was going to take to get there. And so I would, for me, I drew out my dream and said, okay, what is the quickest, most efficient way to get there? And outside of that, I was like, owning your own business, you have to wear so many different hats. I was like, can I manage my money? Okay, yeah, I can do that. Can I do sales? Well, I don't really want to, but I'm going to have to do that. How do I do sales? Listen to Grant Cardone for, a week straight. And then all of a sudden I'm just spitting out pretty much your language and Grant's language on the phone. And then I just started looking at all these things. I was like, can I do this? Can I manage my time? Do I have self-discipline? That's the biggest thing that I would say. Do you have self-discipline? Because everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Everyone wants to own their own business, but then nobody wants to work at 8 o'clock at night. Nobody wants to work on Saturday. Nobody wants to work on Sunday. And that's the thing. If you can dedicate 3 solid months, 80 hours a week to this, to get you free of all the other bullshit you're dealing with, traffic, your boss, your annoying girlfriend, whatever it may be, if you are that, if you can dedicate that 90 days to it and just all out massive action, then I say, jump in, because it's so worth it.
What about the person that's working 60 hours a week already? How do you, what advice do you give to that person that's maybe like, dude, I can't spend 80 hours in the next month or 80 hours, I'm already grinding this much. What's your advice for them?
Well, that's what I was doing too. I was still, doing massage therapy 30 plus hours a week, and then was spending, another 35 to 40 on, literally when I say sacrifice, I dedicated everything to getting out of my current situation. It was like, okay, do I work 12, 14, 16 hours a day for the next 3 months and then go back to working 20 hours a week and then be able to go to school and follow my dream? Or do I want to just drag my feet 40 hours a week for the next 30 years of my life and never break out of this American dream of 9 to 5 and, paying someone to rent their house for the rest of my life?
Totally. Yeah, no, it's super good. You can, at some point, I believe, and the line in the sand was drawn for me when I got let go from the car business. They said, hey buddy, here's your final check. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. And that was the point at which I said, I don't know how to do any of the stuff that now I'm doing as a full-time living. But I tell you what, I don't want to go back to that BS ever again and be on someone else's watch that in a flick of a switch, they can say, you're out, dude. And it's time for me to go figure out how I'm going to support my family. At the time, my daughter was like 2 months old. And I'm like, listen, if I can go and if someone's willing to give me money to work for them, then they're clearly making money off of my efforts. And that's fine. As an owner of a business now, there's no problem with that. But I want to be on the other side of it. I don't want to be the guy that is always getting leveraged. I want to be the person that leverages others. And I heard you say, some of the stuff you're doing now is, now that you have money coming in for your business, it's not like you have to be a grinder for the rest of your life. I have it great now. Everything's running, dude. I could be on Hangouts like this all day long and my business is just clicking along. And that's the way we've kind of orchestrated it. But what people generally, I see, want is they want this of drinking coffee on a Google Hangout day 1 or day 30 or day 60 or day 90. And what they don't understand is you've grinded for the last 9 months. I've grinded for the last 8 years to get to whatever number I bring in per month. Okay. And like, it's that hustle to get you there. And if people would be willing to embrace that 30, that 60, that 90 days, that 6 months, that first year of just really charging hard, they'll never work for anyone ever again in their life. But as you said, procrastination and laziness are the killers of this type of stuff, of entrepreneurship. And until you're willing to kick those things, this ain't for you. Nothing entrepreneurial is for you. There's nothing easy when starting a business. The thing I do love about this is like we both say, we can work it from the comforts of our home. So once it's rolling and clicking, we need a laptop and that's about it. If you had to say what's your biggest struggle over the last 9 months, looking back, any advice you give to someone maybe who just joined or is joining in the next little bit of what you would change? I mean, you've done a fantastic job, but obviously we always learn from our last 9 months.
Yeah. Because I kind of took a lull there for a second and kind of stopped prospecting a little bit. And, we talk about this all the time, prospect. You said right when you wake up, you get your cup of coffee and boom, there goes 30 emails out. I mean, that's what I would say, because the thing is all of this business is like a muscle. When you stop working out that muscle, it gets weak. Yep. So I was really strong prospecting, ramped it up to 10K in the first 3 months. And then, didn't prospect for like 6 weeks, 2 months. Cause I was like, focus on, now I got to do this and build the network and do that, where I could have handed stuff off a little bit sooner. Yep. And then got somebody on for doing sales. I just got this amazing guy on. He landed me 3 clients this month. And I was like, you just got to figure out how to structure your business to make people as hungry as you are to make the money. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I did with my sales guy. Was like, hey, listen, dude, I'm not going to pay you an hourly. I'm going to pay you commission and residual because I want you to be as hungry as I am. And since I started just like handing these tasks off, I mean, the business has just really, really started to grow. But I guess the biggest thing would be is manage your money and make your money work for you as soon as possible. Because what I learned, which kind of pushed me along, is like, as soon as I started making good money, I went out and bought a brand new $50,000 eco diesel truck. and I was like, this is what I need, to show up to meetings and like look like a boss. But I was like, but that whatever $1,000 a month car payment could have hired another VA to help me build my business. Yep. And so that would be my only takeaway, is like really look at your money, get your money working for you as fast as possible, which it is for me now. But I mean, that would just be the biggest thing. Yeah, we see the same thing like in our business, is like just with money is like sometimes being as you get money coming in with your business, being not smart with it can really cost you, obviously, but it can really cost you how fast you grow and ramp. Or being too tight with your money, with like, I don't want to hire that person because I can do that myself. And all of a sudden you're doing stuff that otherwise someone else should be doing. So you could be working on higher level stuff to keep the business flowing, or to remove yourself out where you can just kind of oversee and not be so much in the day to day. I wish I would have done that sooner than I did. But it's cool too. I think for a lot of the people, there's a lot of people that watch these that are like, dude, sales, I don't want anything to do with it. I'm so out, And I think it's cool that you hired a salesperson and they're out doing it for you. There's a lot of fantastic salespeople that are laid off. And so I think for the person that's very like anti-sale, you might have to get uncomfortable for your first couple to get cash flow if you don't have cash to hire that person or to put that person on.
But it's so true. I did the same thing in my business. I brought on a sales guy who was out there beating the streets for me, and that's what he loved to do. That's all he knew to know how to do. And most salespeople in reality, all they know is sales, and they don't actually ever want to learn these skill sets either. That's just not their headspace. So my advice to anyone watching is learn this skill set. Once you own the skill set, literally, if you're not a salesperson, find one. Someone will go out there and all they're looking for is something to put in front of business owners. Some of them already have massive networks. They've worked for Yellow Pages, or they've worked for freaking a magazine that sold to small businesses, and they can already walk in today and get you business if you can provide and produce the leads for these businesses, which we can, obviously, right?
Yeah, totally. And that's the biggest thing is like, you know, I learned from a couple of my mentors. They said, you know, yeah, you can go out and create a business, you can go invent something, or you can see where the money's going and just get in the middle of that and create a platform. And really what this is like, it's like Lyft, it's like Airbnb. We have like Uber, yep. We have, you know, buyers and sellers. We're just creating the platform. So I started looking at all these companies that grew so quickly, and it's like very small margin or very large margin, you know, low overhead and big residual income. And that's exactly, you know, what this is to the T. It's like what so many of these apps are doing, and dating apps and all, like we're just doing the same thing. But when the economy crashes again, you know, I was looking at a recession-proof business, which this is what it is, because in those tough times, that's when these business owners need us more than ever. Yep. So when you become that service, the economy could crash and go into the dark times again, like back in 08. And I'm still going to be fine because my business owner is going to do everything in his power to keep me sending him leads, whether that's, you know, whatever that may be. So that's a really strong takeaway as well. It's like I'm not freaked out about losing my job because we are the ones that are helping our business owners pay their bills. You know, you say it all the time. We're the bill that pays their bills, and that's
no, it's true. I started this in 2008, so I started in the worst possible time, and I was like, I could get business anywhere because everyone was they were starving, you know, for business, and they wanted more. So yeah, I totally agree with everything you're saying. It makes sense. So any last takeaways or anything last that from an outsider looking in that you would say before we jump off?
Yeah, I would just say, just get ready to grind. I mean, it's just like anything. And you know, and you, just like you said, it's not for everybody, but if you're ready to work your ass off, this is the best vehicle to take you to where you want to go the fastest, honestly. I mean, you can just look at my story. I mean, I can show you my paychecks or whatever. Like, it's real, and it's just like anything. You put in the time, you put in the effort, you're going to get the outcome big time.
Yeah, it's pretty much true with anything in life, whether it's working out or going to massage therapy or, you know, learning to be an electrician or you know, going through high school or college. It's like, it's not hard. Nothing's really that hard except for like probably being like a rocket scientist or something. That'd probably be pretty difficult. But this isn't difficult stuff, but you got to embrace the freaking grind, like you said, and you got to be willing to say, I'd rather grind for myself, my family, my music career, whatever it is, than continue grinding for Corporation A, Corporation B, Job Guy C. Because at the end of the day, dude, Corporation A, Corporation B, and Job Guy C don't give two living shits about you and your family. You're expendable. The minute their business dips, you're gone. And you gotta play, I think, at a different level in life, where you gotta understand is like, you're no different than Chance. You're no different than me. Dude, you can go out there and completely revolutionize your life and the way that you live, and never have to freaking not see your kids because you're grinding 20 freaking hours a day or whatever. The money's right there. Embrace the grind for the amount of time it takes you to get rolling, and then life will get a lot easier. I believe, at least.
Oh, 100%. And I knew it was there. I had to do it. And I know coming into this, you know, like it's really overwhelming. You're like, oh, there's all these businesses and all these markets to go into, and what niche do I go into, and yada, yada, yada. Like, I mean, honestly, do your due diligence. There's money everywhere. There's leads everywhere. Like it's there. I mean, right when you look in, you're kind of looking at, you know, Google Map Pack, and you're like, oh, well, what's really going on here? It's like when you really just kind of learn the system and look there, it's like there's so much money. And, you know, honestly, it's a phone call away from you making 30 grand a year off of one site. Like it really is. And that's just the biggest thing. And I wanted to believe it. And then after the first one, it was just like, you know what, the first one's always the hardest. And then after that, I mean, it's game over.
Yeah. Like I tell everyone, if you can do something once, you could do it 10 times. And if you could do it 10 times, you can do it 100 times. And 100 times, it's life-changing money. It's FU money. And it's not that far away. It's just, you just got to put the time in to make it happen. You got to learn the skill set. Well, dude, my computer is going to shut off because I didn't get my charger. But dude, I appreciate you jumping on, man, and I appreciate you in the group, and I'm glad that your business is growing and you're getting to chase some of the stuff that you got into this for, the reason why you grind so hard. So congrats on that, man, and I look forward to hanging with you in Vegas.
Yeah, man, Vegas is going to be sick.
All right, dude, we'll talk soon.
All right, man, later.